Developing a winner's mindset is not about being the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. It is about the way we think, the way we approach challenges, and the way we push through when everything seems to be working against us. It is about resilience, consistency, and an unwavering belief in something bigger than ourselves. Winning is not just about achieving a goal, it is about the mindset that carries us through every high and low. The truth is, most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they give up too soon. They lose faith in the process, in themselves, in the idea that success is possible. The difference between those who win and those who don't is not intelligence, luck, or resources. It is mindset. It is the ability to keep moving forward even when there is no visible sign of progress. The world is changing faster than ever before. Opportunities are abundant, but so are distractions. We live in a time where instant gratification is the norm, where failure is seen as something to avoid at all costs, and where comparison is just a scroll away. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking success happens overnight, that some people are just born for greatness while others are not. But that is not true. Success is built, not found. It is the result of thousands of small intentional decisions made every single day. A winning mindset starts with clarity. You cannot win if you do not know what you are aiming for. Too many people drift through life without a clear vision of what they want. They chase money, status, or validation from others, but they do not take the time to define success for themselves. Winning does not mean the same thing to everyone. For some, it is building a business. For others, it is becoming the best parent they can be. Whatever it is, clarity is essential. If you do not define your win, you will never know when you have achieved it. Once you have clarity, the next step is belief. Not blind optimism, but true belief. The kind of belief that does not waver when things get tough. The kind that pushes you forward when logic says to stop. If you do not believe in yourself, no one else will. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build through action. Small wins lead to bigger wins, and momentum is what creates confidence. You do not wake up one day feeling unstoppable. You become unstoppable by proving to yourself day after day that you are capable. But belief alone is not enough. Action is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The best ideas in the world are worthless without execution. The challenge is that most people wait until they feel ready, but readiness is a myth. You will never feel fully prepared. You will always have doubts. The key is to act despite them. A winner's mindset means doing what needs to be done, even when it is uncomfortable, even when you do not feel like it. Discipline beats motivation every time. One of the biggest obstacles to developing a winner's mindset is fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of making the wrong choice. But fear is only powerful when you let it stop you. The most successful people in the world are not fearless, they just do not let fear control them. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of it. Every setback is a lesson. Every mistake is an opportunity to improve. The people who win are the ones who learn, adjust, and keep moving forward. In 2025, adaptability is more important than ever. The world is shifting rapidly, and those who cling to old ways of thinking will be left behind. A winner's mindset is not about being rigid, it is about being open to change, about constantly learning and evolving. The most successful people are not the ones who have all the answers, they are the ones who ask the best questions. They stay curious, they seek knowledge, they understand that growth never stops. Surrounding yourself with the right people is another crucial element. You cannot develop a winner's mindset in isolation. The people around you influence your thoughts, your energy, your ambition. If you spend time with those who doubt you, who settle for mediocrity, who do not push themselves, that mindset will rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with people who strive for more, who challenge you, who inspire you to be better, that energy becomes part of who you are. Winning is contagious, but so is losing. Choose wisely. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of a winner's mindset is patience. We live in a world that values speed, fast results, quick fixes, instant success. But real achievement takes time. The most successful people did not reach the top overnight. They spent years in the trenches refining their craft, making mistakes, learning from them, and improving. The problem is that we only see the highlight reel. We see the victory, but not the struggle. And when we do not get instant results, we assume we are failing. But nothing great is built quickly. The people who win are the ones who stay the course, who trust the process, who do not quit when things get hard. Winning is not a destination. It is a way of thinking, a way of acting, a way of living. It is about showing up every day, doing the work, and refusing to quit. It is about believing in yourself when no one else does, pushing through fear, embracing failure, and constantly striving for more. It is about choosing growth over comfort, discipline over excuses, and long-term success over short-term gratification. The world in 2025 will belong to those who have the right mindset. Not the most talented, not the luckiest, but the ones who think differently, who refuse to settle, who are willing to do what others won't. The question is not whether you have what it takes to win. The question is whether you are willing to develop the mindset that will take you there. Because in the end, that is what makes all the difference. Discipline is the foundation upon which success is built. It is the driving force that keeps us moving forward when motivation fades. Most people believe that motivation is the key to achieving their goals, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, influenced by emotions, circumstances, and external factors. One day you feel inspired and ready to take on the world. The next day you feel tired, discouraged, and unmotivated. If you rely on motivation alone, you will never achieve consistency, and without consistency, success is impossible. Discipline, on the other hand, is not dependent on how you feel. It is a commitment to action regardless of emotions. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. The people who succeed are not always the most passionate or the most talented. They are the ones who show up day in and day out, regardless of how they feel. They understand that motivation may get them started, but discipline is what keeps them going. Talent can only take you so far, passion can fade, but discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is what allows you to push through obstacles, overcome setbacks, and stay focused on long-term goals. The problem with motivation is that it is based on emotion. You might feel inspired after watching a motivational video or reading an inspiring quote, but that feeling is temporary. It lasts for a moment, maybe a day, but eventually it fades. And when it does, most people stop taking action. They wait for motivation to return before they continue working toward their goals. This creates a cycle of inconsistency, starting and stopping, making progress and then losing it, setting goals and then abandoning them. Discipline breaks that cycle. It creates momentum by ensuring that action is taken every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is a choice. It is not something you are born with. It is something you develop. It is built through small, daily actions that reinforce a pattern of consistency. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your ability to stay committed to your goals. Every time you push yourself to take action, even when you do not want to, you train your mind to prioritize progress over temporary feelings. This is what creates long-term success. One of the biggest obstacles to discipline is the need for immediate gratification. People want quick results, instant rewards, and visible progress. When they do not see immediate success, they lose motivation and stop trying. But real achievement takes time. The most successful people understand that progress is not always visible in the beginning. They trust the process. They stay disciplined even when results are not immediate because they know that consistency compounds over time. The reason most people struggle with discipline is that they rely on willpower alone. They think they need to force themselves to be disciplined every day, but willpower is like a battery, it drains over time. The key to building discipline is creating systems and habits that make it easier to stay consistent. When something becomes a habit, it no longer requires as much effort or decision making. It becomes automatic. This is why the most disciplined people do not rely on motivation or willpower, they rely on routines, habits, and systems that make success inevitable. Another challenge people face is the idea that discipline is about punishment or restriction. They see it as something that takes away freedom, as something that forces them to do things they do not enjoy. But discipline is not about restriction, it is about empowerment. It gives you control over your actions, your progress, and your future. It is the tool that allows you to turn your goals into reality. Without discipline, you are at the mercy of your emotions, distractions, and external circumstances. With discipline, you take control of your life. The reason discipline is so powerful is that it builds trust in yourself. When you are disciplined, you prove to yourself that you can follow through on your commitments. You develop self-respect because you know that you can rely on yourself to take action no matter what. This creates confidence and resilience. When you trust yourself, you stop making excuses. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to start. You take action because you know that every small step forward brings you closer to your goals. One of the most effective ways to build discipline is to eliminate distractions and temptations that make it harder to stay focused. The modern world is designed to pull your attention in 1,000 different directions. Social media, entertainment, notifications, and endless distractions make it easy to lose focus and waste time. If you want to develop discipline, you need to create an environment that supports your goals. Remove unnecessary distractions, set clear boundaries, and create a space where you can focus without interruptions. Another key to discipline is accountability. When you hold yourself accountable, you create a sense of responsibility for your actions. This can be done by tracking your progress, setting deadlines, or having an accountability partner who helps keep you on track. When you know that someone is expecting you to follow through, you are more likely to stay disciplined. Accountability creates external pressure that reinforces your internal commitment. A common mistake people make is waiting for the right time to be disciplined. They tell themselves that they will start tomorrow, next week, or next month. But there is no perfect time to start. The only way to build discipline is to start now with whatever resources, energy, and motivation you have. The more you delay, the harder it becomes to take action. The sooner you start, the sooner you build momentum. Discipline is not about perfection. It is not about never making mistakes or never falling off track. It is about consistency. Even the most disciplined people have moments where they feel unmotivated or struggle to stay on track. The difference is that they do not let one bad day turn into a bad week, a bad month, or a bad year. They get back on track as quickly as possible. They understand that discipline is not about never failing, it is about never quitting. There will be days when you do not feel like putting in the effort, days when you are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. Days when you want to take a break, procrastinate, or convince yourself that skipping one day will not matter. But discipline is about doing what needs to be done, no matter how you feel. It is about recognizing that every action, no matter how small, contributes to your long-term success. The most successful people in the world are not always the most motivated. They are the ones who have built habits of discipline. They understand that feelings are temporary, but discipline lasts. They know that the days they feel the least motivated are the days when discipline matters the most. Failure is one of the most misunderstood concepts in life. It is seen as something to be avoided, something that defines a person's ability, intelligence, or potential. But failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of it. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant has experienced failure, often more times than they can count. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of failure, but the way they respond to it. Failure is a lesson. It is feedback from the world showing what works and what doesn't. It is an opportunity to adjust, to grow, and to improve. The people who win are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who learn from every failure and keep going. They see failure as information, as a stepping stone rather than a dead end. The problem is that most people let failure define them. They internalize it, believing that if they fail, it must mean they are not good enough, not capable enough, not meant for success. But failure is not a reflection of your worth, it is a test of your resilience. When you attempt something new, something challenging, something outside your comfort zone, failure is inevitable. No one gets everything right the first time. The greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders have all failed, often publicly, often repeatedly. The reason they eventually succeeded is that they refused to let failure stop them. They adapted, they adjusted, they kept moving forward. Every mistake was a lesson that brought them closer to success. The reason failure feels so devastating is that people tie their identity to their achievements. When something doesn't work out, they don't just see it as a failed attempt, they see themselves as failures. But failure is an event, not a person. It is something that happens, not something you are. When you separate your identity from failure, you begin to see it differently. You realize that each failure is just one step in a long journey, not the end of the road. The most dangerous thing about failure is not the experience itself, but the fear of it. Fear of failure stops more people than failure ever could. It keeps people from taking risks, from trying new things, from stepping out of their comfort zones. They stay stuck in mediocrity because they're afraid of what might happen if they fail. But the reality is that failure is not nearly as dangerous as stagnation. The people who win in life are not the ones who never fail, they are the ones who refuse to let fear dictate their actions. Failure is proof that you are trying. The only way to avoid failure completely is to do nothing, risk nothing, attempt nothing. But in doing so, you guarantee failure of a different kind, the failure of never reaching your full potential. Every successful person has failed more times than the average person has even tried. They understand that failure is a necessary part of the process. They embrace it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to keep going. One of the biggest mistakes people make is seeing failure as a final verdict instead of a temporary setback. They assume that if they fail once, it means they will always fail. But failure is not permanent unless you allow it to be. Every failure is a chance to reassess, to figure out what went wrong, and to make improvements. If you treat failure as data rather than defeat, you gain the ability to adjust and move forward stronger than before. The path to success is not a straight line, it is filled with detours, roadblocks, and unexpected challenges. Those who succeed are not the ones who never fall, they are the ones who get back up every time they do. They do not let temporary failures turn into permanent excuses. They do not let one bad experience define their entire journey. They recognize that failure is simply part of the process of growth. Society often glorifies success stories without showing the failures that came before them. People see the final result, the thriving business, the championship win, the best-selling book, but they do not see the years of struggle, rejection, and failure that led to that moment. This creates a false perception that success happens easily or quickly. When people face their own failures, they assume they are doing something wrong, when in reality, they are simply going through the same process every successful person has gone through. Failure forces you to grow. It exposes weaknesses, highlights areas for improvement, and pushes you to develop new skills. It builds resilience, mental toughness, and a deeper understanding of what it takes to succeed. The most valuable lessons in life do not come from success, they come from failure. Every time you fail, you are given a choice. You can either let it break you, or you can use it to build yourself into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. People often quit too soon because they do not realize how close they are to success. They assume that failure is a sign to stop, when in reality, it is often a sign to keep going. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in history happen just after repeated failures. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity before building one of the most successful entertainment empires in the world. These stories are not exceptions, they are proof that failure is a natural part of the journey. What separates winners from everyone else is their ability to reframe failure. Instead of seeing it as a reason to quit, they see it as a reason to improve. They analyze what went wrong, make adjustments, and try again. They do not dwell on mistakes or let setbacks define them. They keep moving forward no matter how many times they stumble. Failure is not comfortable, but growth never happens inside your comfort zone. If you never fail, it means you are not pushing yourself hard enough. You are not taking big enough risks or challenging yourself in meaningful ways. The most successful people are not afraid to fail because they know that each failure brings them closer to success. They embrace the discomfort, knowing that it is a necessary part of achieving something great. Every failure is a test of resilience. It is easy to stay committed when things are going well, but true commitment is measured by how you respond when things fall apart. Do you give up, or do you adapt and keep going? Do you let failure define you, or do you use it as motivation to prove yourself wrong? The choice is always yours. The people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your mindset, your ambitions, and your success. Every conversation, every interaction, and every influence in your environment shapes the way you think and the actions you take. If you spend time with people who constantly complain, doubt themselves, and settle for less, that energy will rub off on you. If you surround yourself with people who push their limits, strive for growth, and refuse to accept mediocrity, you will naturally adopt the same mindset. Winners think differently. They see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and success as a process. They do not waste time making excuses or blaming circumstances. Being around them forces you to level up, to think bigger, and to demand more from yourself. Their habits, discipline, and work ethic become contagious. Just as negativity spreads, so does excellence. The wrong environment can slowly drain your ambition without you even realizing it. Being around people who settle for less makes it easier to justify inaction. But when you are surrounded by winners, the standard is higher. They expect more, not just from themselves, but from everyone around them. Their drive and hunger make you uncomfortable with staying the same. The conversations you have, the advice you receive, and the perspectives you are exposed to determine how you approach life. Winners challenge your excuses, hold you accountable, and remind you of what is possible. They inspire you to take risks, to embrace discomfort, and to push beyond what you thought was possible. If you want to change your life, start by changing your environment. The people around you are either pushing you forward or holding you back. Choose wisely.